Hello, welcome back to LARK Running UK. So we've done my 2023 look back, we've done my 24 look ahead, the fact that I'm going to change a lot of things next year in terms of my training and my racing, in terms of jumping into race pacing. So now it's the final thing to do is look at my running shoe restock. Which shoes have I bought and why? What am I going to be running in 2024 in order to hit my goals and all the things I want to be doing next year. So let's dive straight in and see what I bought. So yeah, welcome back to the channel. So yeah, I've previously covered in the previous vlogs all the things I'm going to be doing next year. There's definitely going to be more races than previous years. There's going to be probably more mileage than previous years. And I've obviously got a marathon chucked into that, which needs a good solid kind of long block in terms of long distance running as well. So last year, those that follow the channel know that I decided to do a budget experiment. I decided to buy 3 running shoes as part of my rotation. I generally need 3 to 4, obviously with the mileage I'm running. 3 or 4 good solid dependable running shoes which do decent mileage, 500 miles plus 800 kilometers, around that figure, can help me hit those kind of mileage targets. My budget's around about £200 a year. I don't have much more than that. Normally I have to implement racing into that as well, so any race entry fees come off that, or probably maybe £250 for race entry as well. So whereas this year, because I'm not entering as many races, I've been able to kind of stretch that budget as far as I can. But yeah, last year I did the budget experiment, and as successful as that was, it had some drawbacks, had some limitations. They're not particularly performance enhancing in terms of they don't provide any performance benefits. All the running I was doing was down to me. They kind of batter the legs a bit more than a more comfortable or more higher tech foam. So my legs were getting a bit more battered throughout this year. Touch wood, I've had no injuries, but 2024 I was looking ahead and thinking, how much do I want to spend? What kind of quality of shoes do I want to buy? But again, I need that 3 or 4 rotation in order to hit the mileage I'm going to be probably doing. Hopefully I might get closer to 3,000 kilometers next year, but we shall see. So obviously with the increased mileage, the increased responsibility in terms of these extra races I'm going to be pacing at, I don't want to be doing that in a poor shoe with limitations and potential drawbacks. So what I decided for 2024 was to buy 3 to 4 really good quality shoes at a better standard and a better quality than the ones I bought previously in terms of the budget ones, so in order to help me continue to progress as a runner, but also hit my targets of mileage, paces I'm going to try and set myself next year, which I'll go into in terms of my next vlog. But also, again, I have that limited budget, so I can't go and buy two or three £150–200 shoes. I've just not got the budget for that. So let's dive straight in. What did I decide to buy and why? So let's start with the staple for all running shoe rotations. It's the Daily Trainer, and for me, there's not one really shoe that can compete with the one I've decided to buy. So I'll show you the box. It's a Reebok. Again, those that follow the channel for long enough can probably guess what's inside. I think I mentioned it earlier in the year that I bought it in advance when it was on discount, and I've held it back, and I've actually not got into it yet at all. It's still fresh out of the box. The Daily Trainer I decided to go for next year, like I said, is my favourite Daily Trainer probably ever, is the Reebok Float Ride Energy. So this one's the 5. Back in 2022, I had the Reebok Float Ride 3, which I've not long retired. I think I retired early in the year. But this is the 5, so obviously there's quite a big upgrade in terms of foam height's gone up. You've got this torsion support now underneath the forefoot to stop it flexing quite as much. The midsole foam feels exactly the same, which is perfect for me. But just the fact it looks miles better than it did. I'll go and grab the 3 and we'll do a quick comparison. Yeah, so there's the 3. I said nearly 1,000 kilometers done in this. So what's that? That's nearly 600 miles. Like I said, the outsole started to wear down a bit in terms of the grip was started to go, but it was more the right foot. I started to kind of crash in when I was running. Again, the foam's just over time has softened a little bit more, and obviously it's given a bit less support. So there's the 3, and then if you just look at what 2 years of R&D does for a shoe, and there's the 5. So just a much better shoe. With the 3, I always thought it ran slightly long. I said Reebok and Asics are the 2 brands that generally run a tiny bit long for me. Generally a UK size 11, but in this Reebok 5, I've decided to jump and get a 10.5 just to make that fit a little bit better fitted, a little bit more snug. Should help generally. I said that was the only main drawback of the 3. I felt it ran a little bit long after the toe. I did consider other brands. I'm just referring to my notes. I looked at the New Balance Rebel, the Saucony Endorphin Speed 3. I looked at the Hoka Max 5, but again, looking at them and looking at the prices, they would have eaten far more into the budget. And obviously I've got to be aware that I'm trying to buy good quality shoes, but I've got to spread the cost out. If I go and get one really good one, I'm then limited to 2 really poor ones. So for the Reebok Float Ride Energy 5, it's an £85 shoe RRP'd, but with a discount code, and I bought it early in the year when they did a bit of a sale for whatever reason, even though it was pretty much brand new out. It only been out a few weeks. Reebok do some crazy sales at random parts of the year. So it was an £85 shoe, but I managed to get it for £45, so nearly 50% off. So that shoe for £45, and like I said, you can put whatever you want in the comments. There's not a shoe in the world that will touch that in terms of quality, enjoyableness to run in, squish and response, durability, just basically everything as a daily trainer. Nothing can touch that for £45. Just doesn't exist. Try it in the comments if you wish to. Doesn't exist. Best daily trainer for £45 you'll ever find anywhere. Done. So that's the daily trainer done. Obviously that'll do the bulk of my workload. It'll do all the different types of runs, fartlek, mixed pace runs, varied pace runs, solid just mileage runs I do in various weeks of the year. So that'll be the workhorse. That'll be the one that gets again at least 800-900 kilometers again, hopefully, and is the one I'm really looking forward to. Obviously I love the 3, and this is now 2 years later. It should be obviously 2 years better. So if it is anything like that, then that'll be an unbelievable shoe to run in. So I'm really looking forward to that. That's my daily trainer done for £45. So then next up, obviously with the marathon on the horizon later in the year, and the fact I'm doing a couple of half marathon pace races, and the fact I'm doing an increased mileage hopefully next year, obviously I find that the more I run, like anything, the more you run, the better you get, even naturally without the hard intensive training. So with all that in mind, I needed a good solid long run shoe. I've never really had one previously. I needed a kind of bespoke long run shoe, a shoe that was designed to run longer, isn't particularly a speedy shoe, but it would protect my legs, help me with those long solid runs during a marathon training block. Just before I dive into what I actually bought, I'll go through some of the other alternatives. There was only really 2 I looked at when I started narrowing it down, so I did a good bit of research, looked at a variety of different long run shoes, and again it's got to be on a fairly tightish budget. The only shoe I kind of seriously considered buying was the Saucony Shift 2. So it's part of the Endorphin range, but it's the workhorse again, daily trainer, but is the highest stack, and is presumably used more for the steady pace runs, longer paced runs, the Speedroll technology, which is quite a firm foam, which is eventually what put me off it. I very close to buying it. So I decided to I looked at a different shoe, and with the research, nothing really put me off it. I also was able to get it at a really good price, which again helped me to go towards it. It's a brand I've never run in before, so it's a bit of a gamble, but hopefully it's a bit of a safe gamble. So the shoe I decided to go for my long runs is the Mizuno Wave Skyrise 3. So Mizuno, like I said, it's not an unknown brand. It's just a brand I've never ran in previously. They obviously do a whole host of shoes, but they have obviously the elite shoe with the Mizuno Wave Rebellion. It's a big brand based in Japan. I've just never run in it, and obviously the USP is this kind of wave technology where they'll potentially use 2 different foams, and they've got this wave set up in the midsole. So it's something I'm looking forward to. Like I said, it's reviewed as a really comfortable, workhorse, really good durability with the outsole. Like I say, it's not particularly responsive. It's not a fast shoe by any means, but again, that's not what I'm going to be using it for. Energy Tech in the midsole, which I thought was you can see there. I hope you can see on the camera. It's kind of a red window there to see. I assumed it was kind of some kind of plate, like nylon plate or something, but when you touch it, it's actually fabric. It feels quite squishy and reboundy. So it's almost like a trampoline effect. I'm assuming that if you land more heel, it'll pop your heel up. But yeah, really looking forward to that. All the reviews said it was really comfortable, but have a bit of a mile muncher. I should basically eat up all my long run miles. That's going to be the bulk of my marathon training block. I'm going to use for that. I'll probably use this as well for any of the half marathons I'm pacing, just because again it's got the high stack. But yeah, £120 was the RRP, and I got it for 54 again with a big discount code from Sports Shoes. I got the Reebok directly from Reebok. I got these Mizunos from Sports Shoes. Actually, I ended up going for £54, and it's 120 RRP. So technically, that is the most expensive shoe in terms of RRP I've ever bought, but I got for a massive discount. Previous to that, it would have been the Rincon 2, which was a 105 RRP, and I got that for 73 a couple of years ago. So looking forward to that. I said that's going to be the long run mile muncher. brand new brand. I've never run in Mizuno before, and we'll see what that brings. So this one was kind of a speed shoe, workout shoe, time trial PB attempt, potentially race day, but again, I'm not racing as much this year, so I've actually got one race and I don't know if I'll use these for that, probably not. So basically it was within the training, obviously with the training intensifying, I'm going to be doing a lot of harder pace workouts. On the back of this winter speed series, I'm definitely going to do far more interval work. So this was the hardest one. Actually, you'll be surprised, but there's just a plethora of options for speed shoes. Like I said, the Daily Trainer, there was a couple of options. Like I said, the Hoka's and the New Balance have got a few options, and Saucony have got a few options. Reebok, Puma have got a few options. So there's a couple of Daily Trainers everywhere as well, but in terms of prices and the fact that I had a bit of experience with the Reebok before, that made that pretty simple. Long run shoe, there's not loads of options there, especially when you start narrowing down the price range. You're fairly limited. But speed shoes, they're everywhere. Everyone's got one, so I'll go through a couple of options that I considered whilst I was doing my research. So Saucony Speed 3 again, I considered it because technically it was a Daily Trainer, but it could be used as a speed shoe with the plate in it. Asics Magic Speed, Rincon 3, I've had a Rincon 2 previously. The Adios 7 from Adidas, I consider that. I even looked at the Scott Speed Carbon. I see that was a massive discount on sports shoes again. But yeah, after considering all the options and looking at what was available, I decided to continue on this theme of getting a really good shoe, but at a really good price. I'm not going to go budget again this year. Let's go and get a really good quality shoe. And what did I decide to go and get? I very nearly bought the Adios 7 on the back of my enjoyment with the Duramo this year from Adidas. I decided for a small price difference, I decided to get the Takumi Sen 8 from Adidas. So yeah, I was looking at, again, this was Start Fitness and sports shoes. I was looking at both of those. And the Adios 7s were about 75. And then I managed to find these for about 100, so it's like, oh, they're worth £25 more. And then when I looked on Start Fitness, they were on there for 90, so I ended up getting these for £90. RRP'd for 170, and I managed to grab them for 90. I think they've been further reduced at the minute, so down to 85, but the sizes are kind of vanishing quickly. So yeah, I decided to get these. The only real difference obviously is this is more of a racer. It's aimed more at racing, which is hence why I was nearly going to go and get the Adios 7. That's more of the training partner to this. That has a bit of Light Strike Pro in it, but has a bit of Light Strike underneath it for durability and stability. Where this is all Light Strike, which feels really good, really responsive. And technically, it's my first plated shoe. Obviously, it's got the nylon rods, so it's not carbon plated. It's not plated at all. It's just got the rods, but it's technically classed as a plated shoe. Looking forward to them. Like I said, that's definitely now taking the most expensive shoe I've ever bought for £90. But again, with it being 170 RRP, I've got it for pretty much half price. Obviously, it's a couple of years old. Kind of all these shoes are now, apart from the Reebok, which is only about 6 months old. But yeah, from the vlog I did last year, that's kind of what people have kind of recommended people do now. Don't get budget, don't pay full price for shoes that have just dropped for the average layperson and the recreational runner, as I am, and for most other people. They're overpriced and potentially not worth the extra cost. Overall, I said I'm pretty happy with my haul. Takumi Sen's the one I'm looking forward to. Obviously, that's going to be the one I'm going to be using for my speed work, my time trials, my PBs and training, all the fast 5s and 10Ks, maybe even a fast half. I can probably get away with doing the Takumi. Definitely going to be using it in my training a lot, and it'll be used to hopefully set all my new PBs in 2024. So yeah, overall, I got about £375 worth of shoes, and I paid £189 all in. So not much more than I would normally pay, so I decided to splash out a little bit more, but again, I've not gone mental, and got 3 hopefully really good quality shoes, which would hopefully help me to that next step in terms of my running, my speed, my progression and my potential as a runner, and help me obviously even just the intangible stuff in terms of my legs won't feel quite as battered with the better foams and the more comfort and I said the better tech within the shoes. And just before I wrap up, I've actually managed to extend my budget a little bit more. I sold some old gym equipment I wasn't using, some weights and barbells, etc. I wasn't using as much as now. I'm concentrating more on running. So I've got an extra budget now that I can buy. I was looking at seriously buying like one really good marathon shoe, like another super shoe, like an Adios Pro or a Endorphin Pro, or maybe like a Meta Speed. So I was looking at one of the really big super shoes, probably not Nike again because I haven't got the budget to stretch that far, to a Nike Alpha or a Vaporfly, but again a really good quality super shoe potentially for my marathon in October. But I'm kind of coming back away from that now. It seems a bit over exuberant, a bit over the top to go and get that one shoe. And I've got a marathon on the horizon. I'm probably going to do more down the line, but to spend, like say, 120, 150 pound on one shoe, which at the minute I've only got one kind of race planned for it, and then after that, again, when will I use it again? So I'm undecided. That was the initial plan, was to get, like I said, one really good super shoe and use it on race day, maybe a couple of times in the build up in the block. But I'm also thinking of maybe getting 2 pretty good quality shoes to supplement my training in case I need extra shoes for the mileage, and one of those 2 could potentially, I could just utilise on race day. So watch this space. I'm undecided as yet in terms of what I'm going to use that one for. I might hold the money back and I'll probably get it later on in the year once I know what I'm doing with these 3. Do I need an extra daily trainer? Do I need an extra long run shoe? Do I want to get a specific easy day recovery shoe, which is a bit more comfortable? So yes, that's it. I'll wrap it up there. I won't bang on too much longer. Obviously, I've banged on a little bit, but I've got quite a bit to cover in terms of why I bought these shoes. I'm quite invested in terms of what I buy and why, because again, I buy these now and that's it for the rest of the year now. Generally, I've got this extra budget. I might purchase another shoe or 2 later in the year, but generally I buy them around this time of year, right at the end of the year, and they see me through for the entire calendar year next year. So if I get it wrong, I get it massively wrong. I'm stuck with them for a year at least. So that's that. I'll wrap it up there. So drop in the comments what you're running in 2024. What shoe are you most excited to run in? Have you recently bought a new running shoe in terms of you've not got it on your feet yet? But yeah, I'm looking forward to 2024. All the things are in place for it to be a really good running year. The shoes are now in place to help me hopefully achieve some of them goals. So as always, thank you for watching. I should drop in the comments your running shoe recommendations in terms of I've still undecided about this marathon shoe. Should I go and get a really good quality marathon day shoe? But yeah, I'll wrap it up there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see everyone on the next one.